Just over a week ago on Instagram stories, I shared a YouTube comment that came through on one of my videos where the subscriber shared that she comes from a more positive and expansive attitude or view of life, and her husband comes from or shows up with a more narrow and negative frame of thinking and attitude. And I talk a lot about how there's two types of attitudes. Believe people when they show you who they are. Some are positive and expansive, and some are negative and narrow. And the negative and narrow can be quite draining, especially to those who are more positive and expansive. So not only is this something for you to think about and consider, how do I show up not only with others, but even with myself? Are you stewarding the words that you speak over yourself and others and how you show up in the world? Well, I unpacked that again on Instagram stories where I always look quite rough and I'm okay with it. If I waited to look all put together, I'd never be on because it's just a rare occasion like today, which is Sunday, and I'm heading off to church here shortly. So we are going to dissect that. We're just going to segue right in where you can watch it, but let me just remind you of a couple of videos that I recently published and what's to come. The first one is Life is Like a Box of Chocolates. You don't want to miss that. Also, don't miss my chit chat video that I published about a week ago where I talked about my cross necklace, but I dove into many other areas. Don't miss that one. Also, a few days ago, I published my May empties where I share all the things that I used up throughout the month. And then if you missed my newsletter that came out in email on Wednesday where I shared the purchases that I made for the month of May, I will have a link to that in the description box below. Please be sure to subscribe. And then today is my monthly reflections newsletter. So if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, I highly encourage that you do. But let's jump in and tackle, also last week, I walked you through this. So check it out. Okay, let's take a look at my Instagram stories from about a week and a half ago. I am going to try to make this quick because I don't have a lot of extra time, but sometimes things I need to speak on it in the moment. And I always, if I decide I'm going to speak on it later, it doesn't come out the same as the initial thoughts. So, but it's a time thing. I know you get me. It's a time thing. It's so frustrating. Sorry, I'm venting very early. When I was answering my reading my YouTube comments, because every morning while I do my admin work on my treadmill, one of the things I do, one of the boxes that I check off is to read my YouTube comments if anything came in overnight. On my recent video from narrow to expansive, cultivating a positive mindset, I'll put it in here. A viewer commented and she said, I have always been positive and expansive, and my husband is the opposite, and I wish he were different. It's hard when someone doesn't look inward and see that being negative and narrow is affecting them and everyone around them so heavily. The worst part is feeling stuck in this relationship. I share all the time. I've never had a new client in a first-time coaching session not use the word stuck. I hear it every time. Every time. I wish I had seen videos like this 10 years ago before getting married. Your wisdom is admirable, and your daughters should be so thankful to have a mom My words exceeded that clip. Your wisdom is admirable, and your daughters should be so thankful to have a mom like you. I hope so. I hope they are. I think so. One never knows, right? One never knows. But thank you for that ending, that beautiful comment. This is unfortunate. I am sure that for this person living with her husband, it can be very debilitating. When we are around negative and narrow people, it is hard not to absorb their energy, their attitude, how they show up. It's hard not to absorb that. So they're very difficult people to be around. And if you have to live with one, it's just debilitating. Here's the thing. And she's already 10 years into her marriage. So we can't really she has to figure out what she's going to do with her life moving forward. That's up to her. My message here is not for someone who's already in it, who's already in the marriage. It's for those of you dating and for those of you who are parents of children at a dating age. If I were coaching that client, I would ask her the question that I always ask in situations like her story. When did this show up? When did this negative and narrow attitude and thinking thought process with your husband show up? And I always hear the same answer. Oh, he was like this before we even got married. Oh, interesting. Because people don't change. Now, I know some of you are like, wait a minute. Yes, they do. Yes, they can. Yes, we are all capable of change. For sure, we're all capable. But I challenge you right now to think of some of your closest loved ones, okay? Now, we're not talking about changing jobs, changing some choices that you make about how you live your life. People, I've witnessed significant change in how maybe people live their life, some of the choices they make, but who they are, how they think, how they show up, their attitude, their energy, Have I ever witnessed anyone change in that way? Believe people when they show you who they are, right? Believe people when they show you who they are. Most change is not about the way the person shows up because most people don't think they have the problem. And let's not forget, those that show up in a negative, narrow way in their thinking, in their attitude, in their behavior, they believe they're the victim. So rightfully so, this has been done to me. Therefore, this is why I think this way. This is why I show up this way, right? They're the victim. So they would never see that it is inward, like what she shared, that it is inward, that it is all about them, that we all have the same adversities. We can all find the same victim mentality. I mean, it's 7 a.m. and the day's just beginning, and there will be several reasons to play the victim today for me, for you, and everyone else, right? It's all how we want to view it. So, but they don't think they have the problem because they justify their negative and narrow thinking, their negative and narrow attitude and behavior. They justify it, right? This is getting long, Tracy, and you don't have time, but it's getting long. Yes, always. Always believe people when they show you who they are, right? I'm just showing you who I am, right? Did I make a change? No, I'm still getting long-winded. You guys never care. I care because it doesn't work for my time. Here's the thing. If you're dating, listen up, ladies and gentlemen who are dating, who you are dating, believe them for showing you who they are, and they need to believe you for showing them who you are. Take stock on that one, right? Believe them for showing you who they are. This is who they are. This is who you will marry, and this is who you will have children with and spend your life with. So if they are already draining you, they will continue to drain you. It will not change. They will not change. Do not go into it thinking anyone will change. If you're a parent of a child dating, you need to tell them this. Don't tell them to go break up with the person. We all know. You be very careful in your guidance, in your wisdom, in how you speak it to your children, to your young adults, or your later teens. But if you are seeing some problematic thinking, attitude, behavior with your child's partner that they're dating, and maybe they are even sharing with you or showing signs of exasperation from that partner they're dating, please don't tell them you need to break it off with her or him. That goal will fail you, okay, and fail them. What you want to tell them is, hey, believe, because that doesn't mean that person's a bad person. This is not about someone being good or bad, okay? It's just, and understand it's probably layers deep. It's coming from their own childhood, the world that they grew up in, right? We all have our own little bubble that we live in, and it's everything that's happened in our life that has created who we are. And it's unfortunate because sometimes what's happened in childhood, it shows up later on in life. But that's not for you, if you're dating, or your children who are dating, to try to fix. And that's exactly where they'll be, is trying to fix problems that are layers deep. You want to tell them you need to believe this person for showing you who they are, because who they are today is who they will be tomorrow. This is who they will be as a spouse. This is who they will be as a parent. This is who they will be when shit hits the fan, but it will be on steroids, and it will be amplified when shit hits the fan, because they're going to even be more intense about their narrow and negative thinking and their victim thinking. This is who they will be in your empty nesting years. Okay, so you need to think long and hard. And it's hard stepping away from relationships. It's even harder to step away from marriages because there's so much more invested. So I don't know what this person will do, because she has 10 years under her belt. I wouldn't doubt there's some children involved, and there's just a lot invested. So this isn't for her. If I were working with her one-on-one, and I never tell my clients what to do ever. I am a coach. Coaches do not advise. We believe the client has all the answers. We help our client find those answers through asking open-ended questions and guidance. But I am yet to work with a client who is in a miserable relationship, who has not shared with me that this is how they were when they were dating. Maybe not initially when, we're in the honeymoony phase or the, interview phase. You go in like you're going into an interview, and you just, you beef everything up, and you're this amazing person. How people show up when they're dating is much different than in a relationship, right? When now we're in it, okay? And you're not even paying bills and raising children and wiping butts and putting diapers on and juggling all the household things while you're grinding away at your careers, right? And then you have all of the distractions of today. So you're not even there yet. I've even had clients share, we were in therapy before we got married. Well, hello, bingo. Ha! That is because instead of believing people for who they are, you're trying to mold them into who you would like them to be. Let me say that again. Instead of believing people for showing you who they are, your mission is to mold them into who you would like them to be. And that is why many people will stay in a relationship when they're dating, and then will proceed to marry the person, and then proceed to be miserable, right? Right? Okay, love it. Trace, bam, bam. This came out exactly how I wanted to, and that's because when I can speak on something in the moment, this is how it flows. And that is why sometimes YouTube is so difficult, because I get ready, and it's just, you can't speak it in the moment. And that is the beauty of Instagram stories. It comes to me, I'm inspired, and I speak. In fact, this message was so good, it could be worthy of going on YouTube. I haven't done an Instagram stories shared on YouTube in a long time. I will let you be the judge, okay? Would you like me to save this little segment and I could actually screenshot her comment, put that in there? You let me know. I look at the numbers. I'm going to set a reminder. I'm going to take the little poll. I'll set a reminder on my phone to look 24 hours later. I will be saving this in the Monday highlight though. So it will reside there for 7 days. So just know that. But you let me know. Is it worthy of putting in a YouTube video that stays longer than 7 days? It stays forever or until YouTube decides to shut down, if they ever do. I don't know. I don't know any of these things. Well, there you go. Let me know in the comment section below how you show up with others, with yourself. Are you positive and expansive, or are you negative and narrow? And if you're negative and narrow, do you have a reason? Do you justify it? Do you have an excuse? Well, this hasn't happened to him, her, whatever, right? Yeah, we all face oppression. We definitely do. And the enemy is at work in all of our lives. So, yeah, how are you showing up in this world? Because people are believing you for who you are, just like you need to believe others for who they are. All right, thanks for being here. Use that comment section. I'll be reading them.